me. As we saw, this is not an injunction that is easy to do. It is not easy to follow if we take it on the surface level. Because Bhagavan, God, is not an object which can be enclosed in the mind like even ice cream. It's not an object. And so it is the very nature of the subject. And so if it is the content of the subject, that means we have to look deeper into the source, into this whole question of how to make my mind imbued with Bhagavan all the time so that I never miss the presence of Bhagavan in my head. How to accomplish that becomes a very important discussion in this. And that discussion is what we are endeavoring to understand and look at. Yesterday we saw how to see the entire Jagat as non-separate from Bhagavan. What is Bhagavan? Isness is Bhagavan. If isness is Bhagavan, then what kind of an isness it is? It is a sentient, alive isness. It's not a dead isness. It's a conscious isness, consciousness, consciousness. All it is consciousness, and that consciousness is where? Where is it? As I. That consciousness is me. Are you conscious or not? Yes. Definitely I am conscious. You cannot say no. Even if you say no, you are advertising your consciousness. So this isness is alive. This isness is me. And how long does this isness, which is alive, which is sentient, how long does it continue? Forever. I don't continue forever. Yes, you do continue forever. But what is the proof? Shastra is the proof. No, but I am aging as we speak. That is not you. What is aging? Body. What else is aging? Mind. Because the only thing we can say about the mind is never mind. That's how we know it is aging. So then, body aging, mind aging, senses aging. How do we know senses aging? Because we need things like this. Okay? Yeah. Sooner or later. And the person defies the age by holding the book here and there and there. Finally, you have to go to the optometrist and get a pair of glasses. Aging. What is not aging is the one who is complaining, I am aging. That's the only I that is free of aging. The one that is the witness of everything within and without, that is not aging. So it is, if this is understood, then we can enjoy the presence of Bhagavan as Chaitanya Atma, as myself. That consciousness which is, that isness which is conscious, and that which is forever, and that I can enjoy the Swarupa Lakshana of Bhagavan. But Bhagavan does not stop at Swarupa Lakshana. Swarupa Lakshana means the intrinsic description of Bhagavan. We cannot say attributes. Sat, Chit, Ananda are not attributes. It's the very description without which we cannot say Ishvara, God is. So therefore what? So therefore this Bhagavan is what? Me alone in the form of consciousness. So then in every thought what is there is the presence of Bhagavan. At least in three ways. Thinker is who? Okay. Any question I ask, the answer is? Ah, finally. Thinker is who? Bhagavan. And then the object of thought is what? Bhagavan, because that isness is not just in the body, mind, sense complex. The isness pervades the whole universe. So the object is, subject is, thinker is, thought is. So without that is, there is no thinker, no thought, no subject, no object. Subject is what? Hello. Even after telling the answer if it doesn't come. And the thought is what? Bhagavan. Between the thinker and the thought, there is a bridge. And what is that bridge? The bridge is, wait. That bridge, between the thinker and the thought, there is a bridge. And what is that bridge? The bridge is the pramana. So between the subject, I, and the object that is perceived, there is a means of perception, whether it's through the eyes or the ears. If it is a sound, heavy metal music, what is the manner of perception? Through the ears. If it is something to see, it's the eyes. And that is the bridge between the thinker Bhagavan and the thought Bhagavan. So the means of perception is what? Bhagavan. You see, we enjoy the presence of Ishvara in and through as the thinker, as the thought, as the bridge between the thinker and the thought. We enjoy God all the time. All that is needed is that awareness to be understood as I, which is, and what is that awareness? Neither thinker nor thought, nor the bridge between the subject and the object, thinker and the thought. What did you thought just now? Yeah. If it is all three, it cannot be any one of them. Because it is limitless. This is what is forever. It is limitless. So then, this is Swarupa Lakshana, which we discussed yesterday at length and which I just summarized, which is Bhagavan in the head as Sat Chit Ananda, as the very isness, the very existence of this whole universe, and as the very conscious existence, because that existence is alive, it is conscious. But what about the rock? The rock also has consciousness. It doesn't have the means to express that consciousness because it is lacking Sukshma Sharira, subtle body not being there. It doesn't have antenna. So to be able to broadcast and receive signals and broadcast its existence, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have the means. But it is Satchidananda. It's unable to say, I rock. It's not able to say that. That's all. That's the only difference. And so everything is Satchidananda, and the person who says everything is Satchidananda is what? Satchidananda. This is Bhagavan from the standpoint of what is called the intrinsic description, Swarupa Lakshana, whose nature cannot be without Sat Chit Ananda. But that's not the only definition of Bhagavan. There is another definition of Bhagavan. What is that called? Tatastha Lakshana. Remember the crow sitting on the building. That which comes and goes. A definition that is not constant. Satchidananda is the constant definition of Bhagavan. But here we have a definition of Bhagavan that comes, that goes. It is not there all the time. This thing is not there all the time. It comes, it goes, it is not here all the time. What is that? Bhagavan with a crown. God wearing crown. What is the crown? What is this crown? King of the universe. Jagat Karanam Brahma. Brahman in the form of the king, and we have to add queen, because Maya Shakti, without Maya Shakti there is no Jagat. So the king and the queen of the universe, this is Ishvara. And what is wearing the crown we have to see. What is it that's wearing the crown? Satchidananda. That isness which is conscious and which is there forever, you dress it up with a crown and give it a nice cape full of gold border which says King of the Universe. And then it is what we know as in English we call it immanent manifestation of God. Immanent, not imminent, immanent. And the other one is transcendental, because it transcends everything. Immanent means that which is present here in a particular form. So the same Satchidananda wears a very nice cape. The cape has Milky Way galaxy in the back, and Surya, Chandra, sun and moon, and the various planets and celestial bodies as the border. Glorious cape. Glorious cape. Glorious escape also from all kinds of problems. Why? Because this Ishvara is free of problems. King of the universe, no problem at all. Queen of the universe, no problem at all. And then that same Satchidananda who says, I too want a dress, I too want a crown, cries, I don't have a crown. And then the seamstress comes. Who is the seamstress? The one who has no stress is seamstress. Maya Shakti. She is the tailor, seamstress. She says, okay, let me take your measurements. Oh, you are so tiny. You are so small. Yeah, tell me something, some description about you so that I can make you a cape also. So that you don't have to be jealous of Bhagavan, you can have your own cape. And what does the Jiva say? The same Satchidananda, identified with the body, mind, sense complex, cries. I am full of complaints. I don't like anybody else. I don't like myself either. Nobody loves me. And then what? I have all these problems. I have self-judgment. And I cry every day. And then what do you think of you? I'm nothing, I'm nobody. So then she makes a rag patchwork quilt as a cape, full of tatters, torn. Looks like a jester, like a court fool. So in every, in every king's court in the ancient time there was a clown to entertain the king so that the king would not feel depressed. His name was Vidushaka. So, and he used to dress up funny and entertain everybody. But then himself was not having any job satisfaction generally. And then this is what he says, the Jiva says. The Jiva means the one identified with the body, the same Shuddha Chaitanya, the same Satchidananda, identified as it were with the body, mind, sense complex, says this is me, this alone is me, this much is me, wears a tattered coat full of holes, just like the argument I am nothing is full of holes. That is reflected in the coat, which is also full of holes. And then what? And then what about my crown? What are you? Oh, I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. So then the crown is in the form of a dunce cap. Fool's cap it is called. You just make a long crown made of that. It's called fool's cap because it's made of that fool's cap paper. And then you make a big cone and then stick it on the head. It was a kind of an unkind form of punishment in British India, and the student was sent in the back of the room and sit there, facing the wall, because you could not answer anything in the class. This is the same Satchidananda Atma, same Brahman, same Bhagavan, as though in the body, mind, sense complex, as though in this wonderful cape, as though going through various experiences while being free of all experiences. So this, it is easy to invite Bhagavan from the standpoint of Swarupa Lakshana in the head and recognize that the thinker, thought, and the distance between the thinker and the thought in the form of the sense organs is all one and the same. It's me. It's easier to do that. But here I have to deal with a hierarchy. I have to deal with a disparity. From the standpoint of this glorious being who's got this flashy cape and this wondrous form, This upadhi is anadi upadhi, without beginning, without end. It is a glorious form and name. And who am I? Inglorious form, inglorious name, full of complaints, full of stress, a big mess. How am I going to relate to this? How can this aspect or this component of Ishvara, seen from the standpoint of what kind of lakshana? Tatastha lakshana. Seen from the standpoint of that reality which comes and goes, how can I invite this Ishvara to abide in my mind when we have nothing in common at all? What is Ishvara? Cause. What am I? Because. That's all. What is Ishvara? All. What am I? Small. What is Ishvara? God. What am I? G silent. Odd. This is me. I have nothing in common with this Ishvara, and yet this Ishvara is supposed to be abiding in my mind, as my mind all the time. How on earth am I going to do this? How am I going to accomplish this? What am I going to do? How on earth can I do this? And so here, therefore, there are given two specific tricks here. Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Gita gives two specific tricks to invite Ishvara to abide in the heart. Which kind of Ishvara? The one that is the cause of the universe, not the one that is constant as Shuddha Chaitanya, consciousness, which is myself as awareness, as Sakshi, as witness. We are not bothered about the witness because the witness is constant. The witness I can immediately access most of the time. And then what are we bothered about? We are bothered about the one who feels not witness but witless, meaning I don't know what to do in this situation, I don't know what to do in that situation, Ayyo Rama, what to do. That one we want to resuscitate, do some CPR, and then invite Bhagavan in the form of this one, the King of the universe, to abide in the heart. And so for that we say there are two ways in which we can miss this Ishvara in the heart. One is Dharma. Dharma is Ishvara. Dharma is not a mandate of Ishvara. Dharma means a universal matrix of norms which I cannot but follow. Why? Because I sense it. It is not taught in Sunday schools. In Sunday schools, what is taught is already there in the heart. Even a 2-year-old will feel guilty if the mother has said, you cannot have one more chocolate, enough. Mother goes out of the room, 2-year-old, his hand is in the chocolate box. Mother comes back for something. And even the 2-year-old, even though it doesn't know the word guilty, looks funny, looks like, oh, or pretends to do something else. So I was just keeping the box straight. I was not taking. Why this lie? Because it was caught. It knows I should not have done this. This is adharma, even though it doesn't know the word dharma. The 2-year-old also knows this. And this dharma is seen from, we have seen all this is just a revision. This dharma is seen from the standpoint of samanya, that which is universal. There is no French dharma, Russian dharma, European dharma, English dharma. There is no such thing. It is dharma. What is wrong in one country will be wrong in another country also. It is not that in one place it is okay to kill and in another place it is not okay to kill. Never. Such things will not be there. That's why it is samanya, it is universal. Then there is a specific iteration of this universal dharma, because this universal dharma is activated in every situation. It's not a static dharma, it's a dynamic dharma. It is activated in all situations. And even though we have the playbook, what is the playbook? Ahimsa, do not hurt anybody. Yet the doctor slices and dices through people. Every day the surgeon is cutting through people. How? it's an exception. Why? Because even though cutting through the person is himsa, is injury, but the injury is for what? Saving the life. Because there may be a tumor, there is something there that doesn't belong, that needs to be extricated. So a little cut which takes 4 weeks to heal is nothing compared to having a quality of life and having life itself. So this is Vishesha Dharma. Deshatah, Kalatah and Paristhititah, according to the time, place, circumstances, that dharma which is articulated. What is this dharma? Samanya dharma, interpreted and seen in this light of the everyday, is Vishesha Dharma. I should have the ability to interpret this. And then there is Swadharma. What is my contribution? What is it that I have to do? Because this body-mind-sense complex called Upadhi is not a waste. There is a reason why it is here. And why is it here? I need to know. I need to find out. Otherwise, why would I be here? I am not a wasted creature. This body has been made with a reason, for a reason. And I have to look at that reason. That is one component of Swadharma. Another component is that I already, even before I am born related. I come with duties. Those duties have to be done. So the more I am with Dharma, the more I am with Ishvara. Dharma is not just there as a manifestation of Ishvara. It helps me grow into a compassionate, non-reactive, objective, non-judgmental, appreciative being. Because that is the truth of me. The truth of me is that I am a non-judgmental, objective, appreciative, compassionate person. Uncomplaining also we can add. Uncomplaining person. This is the truth of me. The more I am with Dharma, Ishvara pervades. Why? Because Dharma itself acts as a brake. Brake for what? Brake for all the things I want to do, but then they are going against Dharma. I want this. Okay, go get it. Well, there's only one of it. Okay, go get that one. It belongs to somebody else. Okay, there we have it, can't have it. Correct? It belongs to somebody else. Somebody else has already claimed it. The it could be a thing, the it could be also a person. Somebody says, I want to get married. To whom? This person. Why aren't you getting married? Well, they happen to be married to somebody else. Okay, that goes because it is against Dharma. Somebody else has already a claim, that person is already in a committed relationship. I can't have that person. I can't have that. Dharma. So then, when I give that up for the sake of Dharma, that means what? There is inner growth. Dharma is Ishvara. Inner growth is Ishvara. For that matter, to put a little twist to the whole thing, even desire is Ishvara. In the 7th chapter, the Lord declares, Kamosmi Bharatarshabha. I am in the form of desire. O Arjuna. What kind of desire? Dharma aviruddha kamosmi. That is the fine print, which you have to wear glasses and see. Fine print means, I am that desire which does not cross Dharma. Sattvic desires. Not asuri, not rakshasa. Rakshasa means what? Demonic desires. Sattvic desires. Desires that are saintly. Desires that help me grow. Desires that are for everybody. Desires that benefit everybody. Desires that benefit, you can say, oh, if I pick pockets, it will definitely benefit me. So this desire is beneficial. Not that kind of benefit. Because if you go against Dharma, there is no benefit. The person who goes against Dharma sits and cries because there is a conflict in the heart. There is guilt, there is hurt, there is pain, there is sorrow. What kind of enjoyment? Even if somebody picks somebody's pocket, the pickpocket will have some kind of a conscience. After a while, the conscience is not gone, it is trampled upon. That's why, and the person is always frightened, looking around. Oh, this one is coming to catch me. Who is that? The policeman. Otherwise, we won't be afraid of police. But then the person who has something to hide looks and just is frightened of the police all the time. Frightened of lawmakers and law keepers, because there is something to fear. The person who goes against dharma, any of these dharmas, is in fear. And fear means there is no Ishvara abiding in the heart. So therefore, I take the dharma and grow with the help of dharma. Grow into an Ishvara-like person, Ishvara-esque person, godly person, godlike person. What is that? Compassionate, appreciative, non-judgmental, uncomplaining and objective person. Objective means I can look at my own desires with objectivity. Otherwise, when I look at subjectivity, what happens? There is a kind of an enmeshment. I want this too much, so I cannot have any objectivity. If I want something too much, there is no objectivity at all. So when I sacrifice the wants which are against Ishvara, which are against dharma, there is growth. There is that growth is one, as I said last night, the last thing I said was, if you keep going with the flow, what do you become? You become the flow. You are one with the flow. There is nothing other than the flow for you. And that flow is what? Harmony. That flow is Ishvara. And so then this completes that particular the discussion of that particular compound, Manmana Bhava. We have taken 1.5 classes to be able to, you see how deep it is. Manmana Bhava. So I don't miss Ishvara. It's still not complete. There is one more component. Appreciating Ishvara as dharma is again a very esoteric and a faraway issue. How does that appreciation come about? How do I appreciate Ishvara as dharma? Through my karma. Dharma and karma are two sides of the same coin. That dharma which is there in my head in the form of values, attitudes that are in keeping with the flow, I use my actions as a form of expression of that which is here in the form of values. Therefore, all the things that came in the 13th chapter, what all came in the 13th chapter? Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, this Arjavam, accommodation, truthfulness, and not keeping on boasting one's prowess all the time. Whether there is prowess or not, one starts to boast. Manita, Dambhita. And then Acharya Upasanam. The reverence for the source where the knowledge is coming from. Acharya, Guru, Upasana, reverence, devotion. Shaucham. Shaucham is inner and outer. Cleanliness. Mind is clean, body is clean, clothes are also clean. Thoughts are clean. Atma Vinigraha, discipline with regard to the mind. Vairagya with regard to the sensory objects. All these, etc., everything that follows is a way to express that dharma in the form of my actions every single day. So this dharma and karma become the very important components of inviting Ishvara to abide in the mind and becoming what is called manmana. Ishwaramanaha Bhava. The one who is never away from Bhagavan. This is how both the Swarupa Lakshana and the Tatastha Lakshana are covered. And then moving on, what is the next compound? Madbhakto Bhava. Be my devotee. This again is a very, very important discussion. Madbhakto Bhava. Be my devotee. Easy to say, be my devotee. Okay, blessed by you, I can become a devotee. What do? Ting, 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 bell, ting, 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 incense, and then ting, 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 lamp, arati. That is the karma of devotion, no doubt, traditionally gained from the Shastra, from the elders, from the tradition, etc. That is those are the actions associated with devotion, no doubt. But then this of course has a deeper resonance. Mad bhakto bhava. That is what kabhi kabhi bhakta. When I go to the puja room or the place where the altar is, then I become a devotee. Then when I come out, I yell at everybody else in the household. There is a dissonance. There is a big dissonance. I yell at everyone, I scream at everyone, and then the time for evening puja comes, I somehow compose myself, go there again, ting ting, ting ting, ting ting, everything. And then after the last bell has rung and after the last holy water has been sipped, I come out and then what? Complain about somebody else. Complain about somebody, talk ill about somebody. Do we see the dissonance here? And this is not inviting Bhagavan to be in the heart, because Manmana Bhava and Madbhakto Bhava are connected together. They are not two separate compounds. There is a relationship between them. And we already saw 4 kinds of bhaktas in the Bhagavad Gita. What are they? Artha, distress bhakta, the one who only thinks of Bhagavan at crucial times. Suddenly when one is in pain, one is in shock, one is in difficulty, thinks of Bhagavan. Artha means helpless. Next one? Artharthi, the one who wants things and uses Bhagavan as a means to an end or many ends. And makes a deal also. Hey, what about that promotion? Can I have that? The extra money that I'll get, I'm going to give to the temple, church, synagogue, whatever it is. I'm going to give it. But give me the promotion. There is something in it for you also. See, both of us benefit. Is Bhagavan looking for that? No. But I do that. And in India, we are shamelessly artharthis. A whole lot of us. Yeah. They'll go to the goddess temple and they'll say, "Oh Bhagavati, I will give you a brand new, fresh sari with gold border. Make this sun, not S-U-N, S-O-N. Pass the exams." Why? The fellow has failed already 7 times. All right. And so distressed mother says, "I'll give you." And what does Bhagavati say? All right, let him try one more time. Does goddess want sari? Very, very sorry. But no, goddess does not want your sari. Goddess is not wanting anything. But still, because of our own ignorance, we make these kinds of funny, funny deals. On to number 3. What's the third kind of devotee? Jignahu, Jigyasu. Jigyasu means the one who is not interested in using God as an emergency phone number and is not interested in using God as a means to gain other ends. Jignasu is the one who is only interested in what is this Bhagavan? What makes this Bhagavan tick? Where is this Bhagavan? How can I be non-separate from Bhagavan? That is the Jignasu. Finally, number 4, Jnani. Jnani means the one who knows All this we have been talking about since last night. Everything that we have talked about since yesterday. The one who knows that this Bhagavan is non-separate from me, everything is Bhagavan alone. I am non-separate from this Bhagavan, Jnani. We saw the 4 kinds of bhaktas. And then we also saw that there is a certain growth from one to the next to the next. There is a spiritual, if we can call it, evolution. First, distressed bhakta, distressed devotee, and then deal-making devotee, and then after that, who are you, devotee? Usually, we are in spiritual parlance, we are supposed to ask the question, who am I? But here the Jignasu Bhakta asks Bhagavan, who are you? Like the Yaksha asked Agni in the Kenopanishad. So then finally the one who knows everything is Bhagavan, still a devotee, does not stop being a devotee. Qualitatively, the distance between the devotee and the object of devotion lessens to the extent that when we come to devotee number 4, everything is identical. The devotee and the object of devotion are identical. How did that happen? Because the devotee is not the one who comes alive when in a place of worship like a temple or in the home, the altar of worship. Who is this devotee? Sada devotee. Always devotee. Think about it. The devotee is the basic conscious person who is related to Bhagavan already, who is related to Ishvara. This has to be understood. Mad bhakto bhava. That bhava here is redundant because you are already bhakta. You were born a devotee. Oh, I was born a devotee, but I didn't understand how exactly. Because you missed that understanding, that is why there is a distance between the devotee and the object of devotion, which is Ishvara, because that understanding was missed. Born a devotee. Why? Born related to Ishvara. But that relationship is neither understood nor seen because it is not something that can be objectified. What can be objectified? For the baby, the voice is familiar. This is mother. I have heard this voice in the womb. The other voice is also familiar, father. And then slowly it understands, these are all my people. This the child understands, but the child does not understand that I am already related to Ishvara. And if I make that relationship real through being a devotee, through devotion, then all the other relationships are blessed. If I miss this crucial step, all the other relationships are what? Challenged, difficult, frightening, toxic. This is what happens. And so therefore, we have a blueprint here. I am a bhakta. So if this is not understood, one becomes a devotee first of the mother and father. And then what? Drops them at age 4. Oh my God, these people are not what I thought they were. I thought they were infallible. That's what the child thinks. The mother is God, father is God. But then, because they can move, they can walk, talk, they make all the decisions, they say, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so, I think, oh, they must be gods. And until when, as Pujya Swamiji's story goes, until one day the mother sees a huge cockroach. Yeah. And first the child sees the cockroach. And the child has never seen the cockroach, the child is frightened, goes and catches the mother's dress. Mummy, look! Help! I'm scared. Mother sees the cockroach and climbs up on the dining table, leaving the child right there. And the child calls out to the father because the mother was of no use in time of distress. What kind of Bhagavan is she when she could not protect the child in time of distress? Child calls out to the father doesn't even come into the room. The father from there only says, doesn't matter, it will go away, don't worry. And so the child is confused. So the child has to drop the idealization of the parents. It is an inevitable process in one's growth. And then what? The devotion, the one really wants to be a devotee. So the object of devotion keeps shifting from one thing to another. Then I idealize something. Then I say, I don't want anybody. I'm on my own. I'm going to be a self-made woman. I'm going to be a self-made man. And I don't want any of these people. But yet the heart doesn't listen. Sometimes what? One is devoted to the company one runs. One is devoted to one's work. One is devoted to all kinds of toys that money can buy. One is devoted. So the devotee is a misplaced devotee, a lost devotee, a devotee in search of the infinite, but sadly the one who is wedded to the finite repeatedly, all the time, every day, every second of every day. Sad devotee. So the truth has to be understood properly. And what is the truth? This devotee, who is this devotee? The one who is lost, who doesn't know, has to direct the devotion to Bhagavan and make it the primary relationship. The primary relationship is that I am a devotee, whether I like it or not, whether I know it or not. So the loss of trust that happened with the primary caregivers, the loss of trust that happened has to be regained in the discovery of the mother, that I am related to the mother and the father of the universe. That is the whole life cycle, the spiritual life cycle of this jiva. The loss of trust with the local mother and father has to be understood as a journey of rediscovering the trust with the global mother and father, the universal mother and father. That is how the crisis of trust and the angst that one feels throughout the life, that is the only healing. The sooner I discover it, the better it is for me and for everybody else. Mad bhakto bhava. I understand already that I am devoted to the Lord, to the goddess. That is the primary relationship. And the bhakta then becomes a son. Bhakta then becomes a daughter. Bhakta then becomes a wife, a husband. Bhakta then in turn becomes a mother, a father, an employee, a friend. You see how it is doing, how it is we have put the word devotee on a headstand. Devoted to the finite, searching for the infinite, this is upside down. This is not correct. Devoted to the infinite, but playing with the finite. Much better, more security. I don't become the roles. I don't roll into the role that I am performing. Role is me. I am not the role. It's just like when the actor, a very highly paid actor, plays the role of a begging person. And even as he is putting some dirt on his face and wearing tatters and going about saying, oh, I'm not eaten in 3 days. Actually, he's having a little indigestion. Too much rich food. But still he's acting, I'm not eaten in 3 days, please give me some bread. And he cries real tears without the need for props, glycerine and other things. Even as he's crying, he's thinking, maybe I'll get an Oscar for this role, award. And definitely the bank balance is growing. There is an inner space, not an outer space. The people doesn't know what he's thinking. People don't know. People are crying with him on the screen. People are commiserating with him. But inside there is an inner space to enjoy his acting, his begging, while knowing I am not a beggar. Similarly here, when we look at this example, the body of the beggar is the body of the actor. The mind of the beggar is the mind of the actor. In fact, the whole beggar is nothing but the actor. But is the actor a beggar? No. Thank God the answer came relatively quickly. Actor is not a beggar. So similarly, mother is me, father is me, daughter is me, son is me, spouse is me, employer is me, employee is me. I am not mother, I am not father, I am not employer, employee, nothing. I am what? Devoted to Bhagavan. I am just a devotee. This is sanity. Discovering this is sanity. And so here, these are all Ashirvachana. That's why this verse is very important. These are all words of blessing. And when someone like Bhagavan who has no agenda, when Ishvara in the form of Lord Krishna, who doesn't want anything for himself, who has no agenda, utters these words, it becomes a blessing for Arjuna, and then it becomes a blessing for all of us who are studying that. Manmana bhava tatasthu. Done. Mad bhakto bhava. Yes, I understand. This is also done. Mad yaji. Now yaji means worship. So now we enter the puja room with this kind of an understanding, and then of course the altar of worship is what? Ishvara, Bhagavan. Madhyaji bhava, mam namaskuru. Invoke me. Invoke me as the truth of you always. And then what will happen? Eshyasi, future. Mameva eshyasi. You will gain me. As what? Gain me not as some big darshan. People are very much into darshan. I want darshan. Darshan means what? Bhagavan should be standing there, and that, what is that called? Halo should be there. All blinding light should be there. Bhagavan should be smiling and saying all your wishes have come true. You can dream that. As Swamiji said earlier, all the things which cannot be fulfilled in life can be fulfilled in the dream. So you can dream that and enjoy that dream, no problem. But there is one problem with wanting this kind of a spiritually romantic connection with Bhagavan, because that is based on a duality. And you are studying what? Non-duality, Advaita. So therefore this darshan, this penchant for darshan, it has to be transformed into inner darshan. Whatever I see is Bhagavan. Whatever I interact with is Bhagavan. I am non-separate from Bhagavan. The interactor is Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. And then that is what is Mameva Eshyasi. You will gain me, not like you gained me in the 11th chapter, because of which you became a tree that shakes all the time in the wind. Not the 11th chapter gaining. 11th chapter means what? The whole Vishwarupa Darshana, which we saw. Very alienating. But you will gain me as the truth of yourself. As yourself alone you will gain me. Mameva eshyasi. And then Satyam. This is my promise. Te pratijane. And why is this Satyam? Because I, Lord Krishna, who has no agenda for myself, for the world, or for that matter for you, I have no agenda. And what do I declare? I say, Pratijane, I know this to be true. Why? Priyosi me. You are delightful and you are dear to me. Since you are dear to me, I know this. I know this to be true. So, when Bhagavan says this is true, then definitely what? It is true. This is how to take it as Ashirvachanam. That is why this is included in this. What are we doing? Pratijna-Gita. It is included. So then, the next verse which we are going to look at is 1207. Open to 1207. Teshamaham samudharta. Mrityu samsara sagarat. For the one who is manmana, Ishwaramana, Ishvara Bhakta, Ishvara Yaji, Ishvara Namaskarta. For that person, the one who has gained whatever has been said in the last 2 days, for that person, Tesham. You see that Tesham here in the 12th chapter, 7th verse has to be connected to who? The Mad Bhakta, Ishvara Bhakta, Ishvara Yaji, Ishvara Namaskarta. Ishvara, the one who is Ishvara Manaha. That for that person, Tesham, for those people, Aham Samudharta Bhavami. When the person does this inner work, it is because it's not outer work, it is inner work. It is clarifying everything here. It is letting the knowledge make the cognitive shift has to make an inner shift. I allow the cognitive shift which I study in the Vedanta classes, I allow it to transform me within. And so for such people who are doing or who have done the inner work, I become the lifter upper. I carry them out. Very nice it is. Here see, you got your darshan. So I lift them up. What your darshan means? The desire to be saved is a very big thing. This particular promise addresses the fundamental desire of the jiva to be saved. Somebody should come and save me. Who will come? Yeah. It is called whatever, police or fire. That's all. No, Bhagavan should come and save me. We have stories about all this. Krishna Bhakta, one person, great devotee of Lord Krishna. Flash flood comes to town. And the town crier comes and says, boat is leaving. Last few boats are leaving. Get on the boat. This person is already climbing the roof of his house. He is already sitting on the roof. Flood has come up till there. And his wife, who knows him because she's been married to him for a long time, says Tata and gets into the boat. He says what? Krishna will save me. I am not going to rely on boat. I want Krishna to save me. Then the minister comes with a boat and says, anybody left out, please come. No, you please go. I'm waiting for Krishna to come and save me. Then finally the king himself comes. Come on, last royal boat. Wonderful, full of cushions and nice things to eat and drink. Even that he says, nah, Krishna will save me. Glub, 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 glub. Because he was a devotee, goes to heaven. But not a happy devotee, a very angry devotee. Storms into Krishna's chamber and says, what kind of a God are you? You said in the last Pratijna-Gita verse, Name bhaktah pranashyati, and my devotee is never destroyed. You lied to me, and look, here I am. How did you lie? Krishna was very chill, very cool. And what did Lord Krishna say? I sent boat number 1. What happened? Nothing. I sent boat number 2. Did you get on it? No. I also sent the kingly boat, royal boat with nice cushions and food, everything was provided. Did you get on that? No. Now I know why your mother, taking one look at you as soon as you were born, named you Manda. That was his name. Manda means slightly dull. Okay? Yeah. Mother always knows. Mother looked at the baby soon after giving it birth and said, this one is going to be known as Manda. This is what it is. This spiritual romanticism of wanting to be saved. And again, instead of directing that desire to the infinite, even that is problematic, we'll talk about that later, we direct it towards, one directs it towards the finite. This person will save me. If not, something else will save me. It may be the next job, maybe the next holiday, maybe the next experience, maybe the next spouse, maybe the next house. Maybe the next something big will happen, some miracle will happen, I will be lifted out of this and then I will be saved. That is not the kind of saving that is promoted by Advaita Vedanta. If this kind of a saving is there in the heart, the desire to be saved, then that desire should be shed. How to shed that desire? By studying the Upanishad, which helps you to shed all these nonsensical desires that do not belong and cannot be fulfilled. They need not be fulfilled. Why? Because when do you need to be saved? When you feel helpless. But the truth here is, I am already saved. Pujya Swamiji was asked during the UN Millennial Meeting in 2000 in New York. He took a group of, it was a big interfaith meeting. He was asked suddenly, as he finished talking and he was going, somebody stuck a mic in front of him and said, do you have a message for the new millennium? Swamiji said, I don't have a message, I have a prayer. What's the prayer? Oh God, please save me from all saviors. This is what was the prayer. Only if you are bound, you need to be saved. If you are not bound, you don't need to be saved. And what does Vedanta say? Are you bound? Say no, so we can move on. No. So if you, even that I have to tell. So, you are not bound. If bondage is not real, then saving is also not real. Bondage is not an ocean of samsara, it's the notion of samsara. That which makes the ocean into a notion is this vidya, is this teaching. If you are not bound, why do you need to be saved? Somebody who can walk on two legs insists on using crutches. What will you say to that person? What will you say? Namaha. That's all you can say. Oh, but then I won't be saved. No, you will not be saved. Oh, that's terrible. But I want to be saved. Well, Bhagavan's will save in a certain specific way. How? We'll save that for the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo